Samuel Guérin is coming off a sweep in Superbike in round 2 and claimed his second ever BS Battery pole position here in Edmonton. Will he be able to stay up front?
Hello everyone and welcome to RAD Torque Raceway in Edmonton, Alberta for round 3, race 5 in the Bridgestone CSBK National Superbike Championships. Frank Wood alongside Colin Fraser, and Colin, the qualifying session here at RAD Torque Raceway was as close as you can imagine.
With a triple header in our featured pro classes, lots of pressure to get going early on Friday, and we had a situation where the usual suspects at the halfway point of the series had risen to the top of the standings, but boy was it close at the front.
And there is our podium from that qualifying session. Look at the smile on Sam Garan's face as he has set fast time, and more than just fast time, Colin.
Yes, and we got to mention Ninja pilot Jordan Zook, who was part of that group and right in there with our lap record setter. So we now have the regular 4 taking command. There you see Jordan on pole on row 2, but he was definitely part of that story. And then we have a couple of Westerners who are going to attract a lot of attention. Collins, who probably won't race in most of the Superbike races, and then David McKay, the third of the 3 top running Hondas. So in the top 7, 3 Hondas.
He must be pleased at head office, I'm sure.
Got to mention Laurent La Liberté Girard, who is fighting a rear guard action with his Yamaha 600, is committed to running all the pro races and doing a really good job at a track where he's sort of outgunned.
Item of interest on LLG's motorcycle, it is truly bone stock. It has not been taken apart. There's a good look at RAD Torque Raceway. Our riders are right now out on their warm-up lap. We're going to send it down to our Bridgestone pit reporter, Sarah Said.
A big start to the 3rd round of the 2025 Bridgestone CSBK Championship as a lap record was broken by not just 1, but by 4 top riders in qualifying here at RAD Torque Raceway. It was Samuel Guérin, Ben Young, Alex Dumas, and Jordan Zook who finished with times of less than 1 minute and 18 seconds, breaking the lap record, with Guérin at the top claiming pole with a time of 1 minute and 16.889 seconds aboard his BMW M1000 RR, just 0.37 seconds quicker than Young. Guérin says he didn't see it coming as he broke the record, and that with his recent success, there is more pressure to maintain the momentum and hold on to his chance to potentially claim the championship. But he says he is ready and is focused on staying present. Back to you.
Thank you, Sarah. The riders are staged and ready to go for this 20-lap national championship race, and we'll be looking to the Power Sports TO starting lights very shortly. The riders are under starters orders now. The lights are on, the lights are off, and we are away and running. There was no time at all there, Colin. The lights responded instantly, and as Sam Garan into the lead with Dumas right behind him, and around the outside there is it. Oh no, I thought that was Ben Young trying for that second place position.
There was some drama there with McKay. I'm not sure if he bumped the person in front, but definitely Ben Young capitalized on a little bit of a traffic jam there. So we have Garan, who has capitalized from pole, which is what you absolutely need to do in these situations. Make sure you take advantage of all that hard work you did yesterday in the final session to get that lap record. And this is what you might call conventional running order. And if you remember our last round at Superbike, this should seem very, very familiar. And that would mean David McKay would be in 5th, and yes, David McKay is in 5th.
That has been consistent since its certainty, and Garan, of course, still trying to make up for that disastrous start at round 1, races 1 and 2 at Shannonville Motorsport Park.
And right behind McKay is Philippe de Gama Blanchette on his locally sourced Honda, so 3 Hondas at the front, doing a very, very good job, and of course, de Gama Blanchette, this is his home venue.
And he is one of the stars of the West, as we've seen some great talent come out of this region of the country over the last couple of years.
Interesting that Ben Young is in between the 2 factory BMWs. 4th place is Jordan Zook on that Kawasaki, and Jordan Zook used to be the top BMW runner. He was replaced by Ben Young, the top BMW runner, and now we have arguably two top BMW runners. Geraint, our leader, coming off 2 wins at our last round at Atlantic Motorsport Park.
And 2 of the riders out there, incidentally, have not won a Superbike race yet, certainly not this year. I speak, of course, of Jordan Zoke and Ben Young.
Yeah, and it's surprising because Young is leading the points, and that is a terrific situation, but he's leading it based on consistency. And, you know, we're used to Ben Young winning significantly more than half of the races he's in. So this is, I'm sure, a surprise. They've been banging away at trying to sort that bike out, and they've come a long, long way. But Ben is quite realistic. He knows how good the BMW package is, and both of these BMWs are very strong.
Top 4 riders are starting to get a little bit of distance away from David McKay, and out front now, Geraint is starting to get a bit of a gap.
Yeah, Geraint's a couple of tenths faster than everybody else. You can see the revamped bus stop chicane there. They've put in new curbs. That's been an area of some discussion and controversy, and has changed what the approach is, and in theory slowed the track down, but of course we had a lap record, so that didn't quite work out.
Nice to see a couple of local guys doing well here. Rusnak and Wordsall running 8th and 7th respectively, and of course you already mentioned the Gamma Blanchette, one of the young guns coming up from this region. Round 1 winner Alex Dumas sitting in 3rd right now. Our reigning champion Ben Young holding on to 2nd spot. But out front it's our fast qualifier Samuel Geraint. Portions of the Bridgestone Canadian Superbike Championships are brought to you in part by GP Bikes, Importation Thibault, and EBC Brakes and Clutches. Closed captioning of the Bridgestone Canadian Superbike Championships are brought to you by Canadian Kawasaki Motors, AIM Insurance, and Revs for Rhett. We're back at RAD Torque Raceway here in Edmonton, Alberta. We're working lap 5, but Colin, we have yet another lap record.
So we need just about perfect conditions in terms of temperature, heat in the track, all that kind of stuff to generate a lap record. And Geraint has taken another 10th, which is a lot in these circumstances. And the guys are really on it. And this is how they like to do it when you're racing and you're not focused solely on the lap time the way you are in qualifying.
And we commented that Geraint's got a bit of distance on Young right now, but what Young doesn't have is a great deal of distance on Dumas. And we did have a chance to sit down and talk to Dumas about this tight championship race.
I know Sam's getting back in the points a bit, but it's actually pretty much me, Ben, and Jordan. So for sure, coming into this weekend, I knew Sam would have a lot of confidence, and it kind of shows because he's riding really good. For sure this year, it's been a pretty tight championship so far. So my goal was just try to do some just steady laps and trying to do the best I can and make the bike better because we've been always progressing with the new Beamer. So and we did a lot of changes yesterday that worked pretty good, and we're gonna do some more for the race. So yeah, so far we've been just progressing with the bike. Pretty much coming into this weekend, I just didn't really care about the other ones, just work on what we have and what we can do.
Well, what we can do is be in a solid 3rd, looking fairly careful and comfortable in that position. You know he's going to come after the leaders shortly, but we aren't even at halfway, so the pressure isn't really on till halfway to start making those moves, but Ben Young knows that too, and knowing Ben Young, I think he'll be the first one to try and have a crack at the lead.
Well, I've noted a couple of times coming out of corners particularly where Dumas' bike seems a little bit stronger than the Honda that Ben Young is mounted on.
Well, the Honda team are aggravated by the number of people who point out that it doesn't get much of a drive. And I don't think that's a function of power, which is what people tend to think. It's almost completely electronics. And there in the bottom right of the screen, there's a new feature we have, which is the live active points. So if the race were to finish now, here's where we'd be, and Young would move into the championship lead.
It's surprising that Geraint is up so high in the point standings, Colin, in spite of what happened at Shannonville at the opener.
Well, that's what happens when other people are more consistent than strong. And meanwhile, Geraint, went to Shubenacadie and did practically everything he possibly could. And at this point, the Geraint team has to be thinking, if we'd got anything out of Shannonville, we would be in such great shape. Because remember, they had a mechanical issue in race 1, a crash in race 2. So they got 0, really. And a few points now would make a huge difference. And there you can see Dumas thinking about it on Young. and that move in turn 1 makes you the most unpopular person in the paddock because there is no room in turn 1.
It is that section of the race course where Dumas seems to be at his strongest. So having said that, coming in through the bus stop, he closes up again.
Yeah, and I think we're watching Young starting to plan what he's going to do. I don't know if there's a move coming, but he's definitely doing the what if and where the gaps are and how to time them. There you see Garant maybe just slightly wide. Great shot of what it's like to handle a 200 horsepower Superbike with those gigantic rear Bridgestone slick tires.
And Garant's bike just searching for traction, it seemed, as he came fairly close to that concrete wall on exit.
And you could argue that Garant's Alpha technician was searching for traction there because, of course, the key is your electronics guy and what he can make the bike do. And Garant, his big change in terms of his pace right now seems to be his confidence in trusting the electronics, something that Ben Young has been good at for a long time and Dumas has been learning lately as well.
Mr. Patience, Jordan Zoke sitting back there in 4th spot, just waiting for something to happen, hoping that something happens that gives him an opportunity to stab into a podium position here.
A couple of times I thought that Jordan is getting scrubbed off, but he seems to be able to get back in. And of course, these three arguably might be slowing each other down just a little bit. And if you're Garant and you're leading, you can't help but be preoccupied with the pressure.
Samuel Garant leading Ben Young and Alex Dumas. We'll be right back. We're at the halfway mark now with 10 laps gone, 10 laps to go, and Ben Young continues to fend off, if you will, Alex Dumas. I got a sneak suspicion Alex got something up his sleeve, Colin.
Well, the person who I thought had something up his sleeve was Young, and he is now looking like he's struggling to hold second. Oh, it looks like Phil de Gama Blanchette has had an issue.
A shame.
Yeah, he was running in 6th, very strong performance, and not far behind David McKay, so the third of the 3 Hondas in the top 6.
He's been having a very good year, has Philip de Gama Blanchette, but as we look at our race leaders right now, Collins, Garant is starting to get some serious distance here.
Well, I think they're closer together now than they were on the first lap, and Zoke is hanging in there. I mean, we haven't seen him try anything, but he's within striking distance. This has historically been a good track for him. At one point, he was the guy to beat here, but that was in his BMW days.
Yeah, well, as I mentioned, he wasn't feeling too tip-top coming into this weekend. I think he's fighting a bit of flu or something, but nonetheless, game to go and showing patience, as I say, waiting for something to unfold in front.
Once again, Dumas putting the pressure on Young into turn 1, and that helped Zoke make up a little more ground. So I think we're in a bit of a status quo here. And maybe I'm overselling Ben Young's situation, but it's usually Ben who is the catalyst for change. Now we go on board facing forward with our leader Sam Garant on that very potent BMW, and this is sort of the second carousel after the bank turn, and he has a bit of an unusual line here, which is misleading. He has a bit of an unusual line pretty much everywhere.
He winds the throttle on nice and smoothly, though no issues at all for that BMW rider.
Yeah, and the person who seems most in control at the moment is Dumas. I don't think he's pushing his pace. We look at the lower box with data from our qualifying session yesterday. You can see that Dumas is very close to the outright horsepower restriction, and that just shows you how well that Scott Miller-tuned Alpha Technic BMW can go. But of course, this track probably doesn't favor the highest horsepower, and here we go again. It's all about electronics, Frank.
You know, I was just about to make a comment that the guys were starting to scrub off Jordan Zoke, and the next thing I know, they come into that switchback corner there, for lack of a better description, and he closes up again, masterful on the brakes.
Yeah, it's not the way racers like to make time, because it takes a lot of aggressive riding to do it on the brakes, and Jordan acknowledges that that's what he's been doing lately. But I think his level of fitness and comfort has got to the point that now he is back rivaling Garant, who's sort of the king of the late breakers. And if you talk to Ben Young, he'll say, I don't think that late braking technique is the way to get lap time. But at Shubenacadie, Ben was complaining that he wasn't 100% happy with his braking. So, you know, when it's this close at the front, you're looking for just a 10th here and there. And at the moment, the top guys are looking at their brakes.
You know, reflecting back to Shubenacadie, Nova Scotia, I saw a different side of Ben Young at that racetrack, and I'm starting to see him in this race. And I'm talking about aggression. I can't help but think that Braveheart's in a bit of a pressure cooker. You know, he hasn't won a national championship race for Honda, and I'm sure that they would dearly like that. Now, he has been consistent. We've seen him on all the podiums, what have you, but a win has been eluding him, and I think that puts him in a bit of a pressure cooker.
Well, a guy who's won as many championships and hasn't had as much success. Remember, a year ago, he was getting ready to go to Japan to ride in the Suzuka 8-hour. A lot of pride involved. And, Ben Young is the top gun, and he's got that #1, which, of course, makes you a target. But he's the one who made the decision. He sort of summaried all of the people on his staff, and they agreed that they could build a Honda that would be as good as a BMW. BMW, much easier to get the performance out of.
And Samuel Goran continues to lead this national championship race. We will be right back. Portions of the Bridgestone Canadian Superbike Championships are brought to you in part by GP Bikes, Importation Thibault, and EBC Brakes and Clutches. RAD Torque Raceway is where we are right now. We're working lap number 16, just about to go on to lap number 17, and the top 3 have put serious distance now between themselves, and they're pursuing Jordan Zook, and the top 3 are closer than ever, Colin.
If you've been watching closely, Ben Young is starting to wring the neck of that CBR 1000 Triple R, and he is squeezing everything out of it. We saw this at the tail end at Shubenacadie. He's right at the limit, and this is when you hope those electronics are doing everything they can so he can comfortably push right into the gray area, but he is at 100%.
And looking good in the meantime. And meantime, Dumas, who had been threatening Young just a couple of laps ago, sits back there. I guess he's working the patience level as well. Samuel Goran continues to lead, and watch that BMW accelerate down this straightaway.
Yeah, and from Dumas' point of view, Young picking up the pace, then Dumas figures out, can he go with him? Has he all that time had pace in the bank, as it were? And yeah, he absolutely does. He's right there with Ben Young. So Dumas still thinks he can win this. So basically right now, everybody on the screen thinks they're going to win this race.
Well, Samuel Goran is the guy I would say has a stranglehold on it right now. Now, admittedly, Ben Young is pressing hard, but he has not been able to, for instance, pull up alongside, show him a wheel, or anything more aggressive than that.
Well, your stranglehold is my hanging on by your fingernails, because that is not much of a lead. And the question is, will Dumas get Young first, or will Young find a way? And this far east side of the track, where the teams are, that seems to be where Young can make his time. And here Dumas looks on the inside of 1 again, and as I said, that would be a hugely unpopular move.
That when the bikes are coming towards us like that, there was several times where I've almost said that Dumas is on the move, but he's just looking around for now. But we're getting very close to the end. Somebody's got to make a move here.
Yeah, Young was working both sides of the curb.
There goes Ben Young to the inside. He has taken the lead for a very brief period of time as Goran comes back again. Young to the inside. Can't get it done just yet, but I think he's got something more in the tank than this.
That's about as good as it gets. That's 2 of the top guns, and of course now Goran is well aware that Young is coming.
Yeah, this is the aggression I spoke of. This is the new Ben Young. Braveheart's getting aggressive. The sword is out of its scabbard. And look at Dumas now as he gathers up Goran.
Yeah, Dumas saw the opportunity because of the almost collision there between the leaders. Nice move by Dumas, and he has a good shot at this one, but he has very little time to do it. And right now, Goran's going, I had a lot of empty track for a really long time. What just happened? So now we go on board with Young, and this is the move, and this is not a conventional move. Goran's fairly wide on the entry. Now we go on board with Goran, and here we are at the apex, and Goran never got to where he wanted to be because Ben Young was already there. Now we have it from the drone, and right now Dumas thinking, is the door going to get pushed wide enough open that I can force my way through? So Dumas the salesman with his foot in the door, and he's just coming, and you are getting yourself a new vacuum.
I'm feeling kind of sorry for Jordan Zook right now. He's missing a hell of a race.
Well, he's not missing it. He's desperately wishing to participate in it, and unfortunately, he is just a little too far back. Goran got a heck of a drive out of the carousel there, but it's status quo at the front, and Ben Young is trying, and you've highlighted this, Frank, trying to win his first race this year. First race for Honda. This would be huge.
Goran must be kicking himself in the backside after that. A mistake, let's face it.
Well, Goran was trying to hatch this thing like an egg, and it was going well. He's setting good lap times, but I think the problem is the other guys were pacing themselves. They had a lot of time to consider how much tire they had left, and Ben Young mounted the charge that he's famous for mounting, and now the question really is, does Dumas have something for Young?
Well, these guys have been going at it for years. We're working lap 19 of 20, the penultimate lap, as I like to refer to it, as the economy loop BMW of Alex Dumas. We're on board with him right now. A thrilling ride in store, I'm sure.
On to the finish line here, because we don't start finish, right? There's 2 different spots, and what a move!
Dumas got him.
Yeah, and that wasn't in turn one. That was on the straight, and maybe that's what he always... Oh, here
Ben
comes
Young
Ben.
comes back again. He stands him up a bit and retakes the lead. I'll have none of that, says Young. And Garand now is coming back at it.
Yeah, and I think
on the opposite side of Dumas.
And Garand got out of that one. Garand had to bail on his move because he lost his balance, and I don't know if you saw it, his foot was flailing around. So dramatic moments for our race-long leader, Sam Garand.
And again, he must be somewhat frustrated as now we're on the final lap, and the chances of Garand catching both Young and Dumas, not impossible. We've watched CSBK racing for a number of years to know that things can happen, but Dumas seems to be the man in the driver's seat right now. Ben Young holding on, but I think Dumas has a little more drive at points and is hungry for a win.
Problem is Slam and Sammy missed an opportunity to be in second where he only has one pass to make, and now he has 2 bikes to get in half a lap, and the math just isn't there. Yeah, that is not an easy pass. We've seen it done. Dumas trying everything right now.
Kidding.
We're not looking for an easy pass. We're looking for anything.
And Dumas getting a wee bit of a wiggle. That BMW trying to turn into a pretzel underneath him as Young continues to lead. It's at half a bike length. As Dumas getting huge drive now as they come down to the checkered flag. I can't call it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Young, and the gloves were off there, Frank. The last couple of laps there, that's about as hard as these guys can ride. And I'm hard pressed to say if Ben Young has ever handled himself that way. It was quite the effort.
We've seen aggression. This is the first victory for Honda since 2014, and Colin, you'll remember who that was.
Yeah, that was Jody Christie, whose next season after he won the championship came apart right here at Red Torque.
What a great race, holy cow.
Here's the move of the race, and watch Dumas. He does not expect Ben Young at the apex of turn 2. There isn't a lot of room here, and he really has to pick it up. And your term stand up, that is exactly what that was, and that is Ben Young all in.
Well, if I looked at that footage without any identification of the riders, I would have to say that was probably Torrin Collins. Very similar, though. He gets in there, he stands him up, and that's exactly what Ben did. Let's get down and talk to our winner, Ben Young.
All right, Ben, congratulations on first place. What a finish at the end there. Can you tell us what happened?
Yeah, it was it was awesome. We dogfight through the whole race, obviously, and we just need to pick our points at where we're stronger with the Honda than the BMW is, and it's very minimal around a track like this. So we had to do everything we could, and a bit more aggressive than I like to be, but it's the last lap for a race win. So we did everything we could, and the Honda worked great. It's a pleasure to have my good buddy Jody here. He was the last one to win on the Honda, so glad we could get that one for the team and for Honda. So
congratulations.
Awesome. Thank you.
And there's Jody Christie congratulating Ben. Jody, the last one to win a Superbike race on a Honda. Colin?
With that win, Ben Young opens up his points lead, but it is a near thing, and you cannot call it. And you could argue that with a little luck, Sam Garand can get back in there too, but it's going to take some really strong efforts at CTMP in about a month's time.
And there's our Constructors' Championship after 5 of 9 races. BMW normally, as they have been for the last few years, atop the leaderboard with 1 of 77, and a Honda in second spot, and we haven't seen that in a long time, Colin. And there's our podium with Ben Young atop the podium, a smile just creeping onto his face. Big smile on the face of Alex Dumas. And there's Ben taking that checkered flag for a ride for the first time on a Honda.